ready to hear some noise tonight. You're just seconds away from Let's Go Blues Radio.
No doubt about it, eh? You're listening to Kurt, Bill, and Jeff on Let's Go Blues Radio, the original St. Louis Blues hockey fan podcast. Take it away, boys.
Come on, St. Louis hockey fans, stand up and cheer. The Blues are back strong. This is our year. It's the Blues' turn now.
I'll write it and we'll do it live.
Yeah, it's the Blues' turn now. With that Al McKinnon slap shot, you know we can't lose. We are St. Louis, the home of the Blues. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis. Come on, St. Louis.
Let's do that hockey.
Come on, St. Louis. All over the hockey universe, the note is the news. Everybody's digging on the St. Louis.
That song has a lot more giddy up and go for me now.
Yeah.
As it did earlier in the season. It's Wednesday, February 13th, 2019. Welcome to Season 7, episode number 35 of Let's Go Blues Radio. This is franchise episode number 168 all-time. I'm your host, Kurt Price. The rich and connected Bill Day and Jeff Ponder are here as well. To interact with us, the show on social media. Follow us on Twitter, at LGB Radio is the show's account. Mine is at Kurt Price. Bill's is at Billy Blue Note, and Jeff's is at jponder94. Follow us on Instagram, like us on Facebook, and the website is letsgoblues.com. Please check out the letsgoblues.com shop for t-shirts, mugs, and stickers. Whew. Well, first off, guys, how are you this evening?
Well,
Fellas?
well, I'm remembering how to be optimistic. It's a weird feeling.
How's that going for you?
It's a weird feeling. I mean, I've just been so negative all season,
Right.
and
You're a negative guy in general, though. You're very...
yeah. Okay, so I was pissed off that we gave up 3 goals last night.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
We'll get to that.
You got to complain about something. Jeff, sir, how are you?
You know, I'm good. I mean, things are great. Nothing to complain about on the hockey front, I guess. But, man, I do have something to complain about on the hockey front. I'm going to get something off my chest. All right. It's about me playing hockey. Here we go. You guys ready? This is going to take probably at least 40 minutes of the show. I hope that's cool.
Why don't you record this as a separate podcast and we'll put it up later?
Oh, yeah. I'm sure you'll put that up, Kurt. Yeah.
Okay. I'll give you about 30 seconds. Go.
All right. Playing hockey, what was that, Tuesday night, and ice, not inline for you inline players. And I got into it with the ref a little bit. So let me share my story. I haven't done that in years. I mean, I know a lot of the refs that I play with now, and so I don't really let that happen anymore. But man, I wanted to beat the shit out of this ref, and let me tell you why. So we were up 9-1, okay? And on my ice team, I play forward. What's that?
No, I was going to make a smart-ass comment, but go ahead. Sorry.
Best time to the official.
Yeah, when you're blowing out the team, let's be a dick to the official, but go ahead.
No. I'm sorry. The dick was the official.
Okay.
I reciprocated the dickness.
All right. I refrain. I'll refrain. So go ahead.
So here's what happened. So we're up 9-1, and it's late in the game. Okay, so actually it's about second period. So I think we're up like 7-1 at this point. And we start to break out. I skate through the neutral zone. I was playing center, and teammate goes to hit me with a pass, gets intercepted right at the blue line. So I'm already like down at the other team's blue line. I'm skating back, and as that happens, we get the puck again, get shot up the center, comes to me on the breakaway. So I take the breakaway, I take a shot, goalie makes the save, and covers up. Referee skates over to me and says, "Come on, man. Look at the scoreboard. You don't need to be cherry picking."
Oh.
And I just told him, I'm like, man, I swear to you, man, I wasn't cherry picking. Like, we were breaking out before. The pass got intercepted. And then I go, wait a minute. Why do you care anyway? You're the ref.
Just shut the fuck up.
Yeah. And he just goes, "That's just not cool, man. You just don't cherry pick."
Wow.
And I'm like, okay, guy, Thanks, guy. So then, about 2 shifts later, I get a pat, and let's put it like this too, and nothing against the other team. If anyone on that team knows what I'm talking about, if they're watching or listening, I apologize, but you did not have a very strong defensive game that night, obviously. So they were collapsing 5 in. We're up 7-1, 8-1. All 5 guys are in their zone. When we're breaking out, all 5 guys are in our zone. So the forwards are all skating up into the neutral zone for a breakout, right? I get hit with a pass. I'm not even at the blue line, and the whistle goes. And I'm like, okay, we're about to go out on a 3-on-0. And I look back at the ref, and I'm like, what was the whistle for? Offside. I wasn't offside. How was it offside? I wasn't even at the blue line. You were offside. You were cherry picking, and you were offside. And I'm like, okay. And I didn't say anything. So then the whole rest of the game, every time I went into the neutral zone, he would start going, cherry pick, cherry pick, cherry pick. And I'm like, learn the game, man. I'm not cherry picking. I'm breaking out. We have the puck. So I almost got I was told to cool it by a couple of my teammates. And I'm considering filing a complaint. Listen, I know it's crazy. We won 9-1, game over, fine. But the fact that he's calling, and I told him, just do your fucking job. You know, do your job. Call the game like it's any other game. Don't be blowing off sides when we're not even at the blue line yet. Like, that's ridiculous.
Jesse Hill in YouTube chat says, in Preco voice, I can do what I want.
I can do what I want. Thank you. Hey, you know what? And that's what one of my teammates actually said to me that was on my side on it. He's like, we pay to play here. We pay for the referees to do their jobs correctly. And he wasn't. So I'm considering filing a complaint. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Should I not file a complaint here?
Don't consider. This is what I would do. And I think Bill knows where I'm going with this. Maybe. Bill knows me. Don't consider shit. Do shit. Go. I don't know what you said to the guy. I would have had words with him on the ice, and I would go up to management of the place or whatever, and I would just I'd go off. That's me.
Inside joke here, but you'd be in Jurgen's office in 2 seconds.
Yeah. I really would. I don't take shit like that. That's ridiculous.
See, okay, so I wasn't being. I mean, I guess I was being a dick in the way I was reacting. But I mean, I didn't initiate this shit, right?
Right.
I wasn't there.
It's not directed at the other team. It's directed at the official, right?
Right. Yeah. So, which, I mean, you can get a bench minor if you're on the bench or unsportsmanlike but who cares? Up 9-1, go off.
Yeah, the other team wasn't even saying anything. They didn't give a shit. They were just like, can we just go to running clock? We don't care.
I've had my share of run-ins with officials many times.
Not you.
This.
Yeah. What facility was this?
This was at Kirkwood, but this is H&A. So it was H&A officials.
I would write a strongly worded letter.
I might do that. All right, let's spend the rest of this episode coming up with a good way to word this.
Or we can talk about the announcement that you want to make.
Oh, yeah, we do have one of those, don't we?
You have an announcement.
We do. So on to happier times. I'll put my smile on now. Hey, guys, this is my smile. We have a giveaway, and it's a very exciting giveaway. Kurt and Bill and I, about 2 months ago, went to Bernie Federico, one of his autograph signings. We talked about it the next week. We actually were lucky enough to sit and hear a couple stories from him that were not in the book. But
I'd be hard pressed to find somebody at Kirkwood Station that had a better time than us that night.
Oh, definitely not. It was us and listener of the show, Jason. We sat and had a good time with Bernie and Jeremy Rutherford.
Mm-hmm.
And Jeremy's sister-in-law, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
We talked for a good half hour. Just
yeah, we did. Cool. But anyway, so I had Bernie sign an extra copy of his book, and Jeremy signed it as well. So it's written by Bernie with Jeremy Rutherford, obviously helping out because he's an actual writer. So we are giving this book away. It is signed by Bernie and Jeremy Rutherford. You guys don't even know how we're giving this away, do you? I haven't shared this news with you.
No, you have. Let's. What did you come up with? Because it needs to be different than the way we did our last giveaway.
Okay, you two are not eligible. Sorry to say.
That's fine. I don't want a book that says, Jeff, thanks for the handies, JR. I don't need that in my collection.
Oh, man. That's for me. I've got that one. That's not going to anyone.
Sorry. I forgot you got multiple books.
Yes. Never mind. I'm not going to go there. I had something. Anyway, yeah. So how we're going to do this is we have a Facebook page. Believe it or not, Let's Go Blues Radio. It's not been very active lately, but I've kind of been trying to jump on making it a little more active for everybody. So in order to do that, I am going to ask for people to follow us. And if you want to join in on this giveaway for the My Blues Note by Bernie Federico, you go to facebook.com/LGB Radio, or just look for Let's Go Blues up there in your search bar. Like the page. I'm going to have a post that's going to be coming out probably sometime during this show referencing the giveaway. All you have to do is share that post and like the page, and you, my friend, are entered into the giveaway.
Cool. Awesome.
All proceeds go to charity.
Is that a disclaimer that didn't need to be there?
Yeah. Sorry.
You went in full legal mode there for a second.
I don't know where that came from.
Exciting. Cool. And do we have a time frame on how long before?
Yeah, it's going to be a week. So I don't know when our next show will be, but I'll just go ahead and put it at let's say midnight next Tuesday. So that's what the 20th.
It is Tuesday is the 19th. So 19th, the 20th is the Wednesday.
Yep. So yeah, Tuesday the 19th at 11:59 p.m. Central Daylight Time. That is when this will end. So make sure you like Let's Go Blues. It's actually just Let's Go Blues, but the link is LGB Radio. Right. And yeah, just go on there, like that, and then when this post comes, just make sure you share it. Very cool.
And I think we'll do a show. We're set to do one on Wednesday. That's when the Blues are off. So
makes sense.
Tentatively when we'll do a show. So that's probably going to happen that way.
All right. Well, then we'll probably announce it on the show then.
Sounds perfect.
Cool.
That would be perfection.
That would be perfection?
Gum would be perfection. The official beers of episode 168. Mine's almost gone after that long rant by Ponder. What do you got, Bill?
I am drinking 6 Mile Bridges, the local brewery in Maryland Heights. Their coffee maple stout.
That sounds good.
Sounds good. It's not my favorite coffee stout.
Okay. Is it too coffee-y, not coffee-y enough?
Not coffee enough.
Okay. So that sounds more like my kind of a coffee stout. It's not coffee-y enough.
There have been a couple that I've had lately. I had the Elysian Split Shot. It's a espresso stout, which I was really kind of psyched about. But they're coming off almost with instead of a coffee flavor, it's more chemical flavor that just doesn't do it for me. And I'm still searching for the real maple. I mean, the concept here is great, and I don't know, maybe I got a bad batch, but I don't think so. The way it's described is by combining Guatemalan coffee beans with 100% pure Vermont maple syrup, we turned our favorite parts of breakfast into a beer you can drink any time of the day.
Sounds like a good.
Sounds like
a good. It's very well marketed.
Yeah, it's very well marketed, and it's not terrible. It's just, I don't know. I think I have pretty high standards when it comes to coffee and stout.
I would when I have coffee questions, they come your way, and usually stout questions they come your way too. So yeah, I would agree with you on that. Jeff, did you have a chance to get a beverage in the midst of your anger?
I did. Since I've been showing red a little this episode, I went with the O'Fallon STL Red. Actually, this is more in honor of spring training kicking off. This is the O'Fallon version of, I guess, Cardinals beer. So good stuff. Good springtime beer. So ready for spring training, ready for playoffs, ready for MLB season.
You know, it's interesting. Some Blues fans do not like baseball in the Cardinals. You'll see that on Twitter once in a while. But yeah, I thought you were a Cardinal fan. No,
I am, but I just don't care.
I wasn't going to complain about it. I was just going to note that it's interesting to me.
I'm not a hater, but when I saw the people who had obligatory pitchers catchers report today tweets and posts,
do you know what
I was like,
do you know what I was speaking of pitchers and catchers reporting or what and spring training officially starting I would really love it. Wouldn't it be crazy if the assistant whoever to the sports director of KSDK, whoever was at Blues training camp the day, like when the doors opened to interview the players walking in, to the lobby before they get to the locker room and asking them kind of weird questions, in the morning shows are there to set up camp and to act stupid and ask funny questions and grab some players before they get dressed and go on the ice and just kind of have fun with them. Wouldn't that be kind of cool? You don't see shit for the Blues with that. You see Frank Cusimano give 10 seconds in the Blues open camp today, and they might show a clip of a save in training camp. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
they at least send, one of their backpack camera people out to film, probably send them out there for 2 hours for 10 seconds footage, like you said.
It'd be nice, especially with, well, granted, baseball season's still going on when that's part of the deal, because the town is baseball crazy. And rightfully so. The Cardinals are Cardinals, but it would just be kind of cool if the Blues the media was as excited about Blues training camp as they are for Cardinal spring training. I know that would never happen, but it's a nice thought.
Yeah, maybe if they won the cup, you'd get a little more coverage.
Oh, I think if they won the cup you'd get a little more. I'm sure you would. And
yeah, I think you wouldn't get the people, all the media there, but I think you would definitely get at least, well, I guess 101.1 covered it a little more extensively.
Yeah. And this has been brought up on Twitter a number of times. If the Blues win a cup, their cup parade is going to be ridiculous. It's going to be. I'm a huge Cardinals fan. I went to the parades and everything when they won the last couple World Series, but the Blues parade will put the last one anyway to shame. Because it's no knock on the Cardinals parade. It was big. It was huge, but I'm sorry. Been there, done that. 11 times. The city loves it, and they throw a huge parade and a big party, and it's great. But your first cup, there's the parties, the cities, they're going to be in a drunken stupor for weeks. It's going to be. A lot of Blues fans are going to be like Ovechkin.
Yeah,
they really are.
I've already told my wife that she might not see me for about a week after the Blues win the cup.
I'm taking off like a week of work.
Yeah, how many people are going to take a week off of work and then show up that next week with Stanley Cup face tattoos?
Yeah. Oh, please don't face tattoos. That's a decision that you almost have to be rich to make. It's like, you don't care about your income,
but you're not.
No, or you're a tattoo artist or
a
felon. Right.
A felon.
That's not really a career. I guess it could
be. What do you do for a living? Oh, I'm a felon.
There's no checkbox for that on the resume.
It's it's banned in a lot of cities now. The checkbox.
What, being a felon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. They frown on being a felon in most cities.
Yeah.
Not in St. Louis though. St. Louis you can be a felon. They encourage it.
Welcome to St. Louis. We welcome felons.
Right. It's on the billboard when you cross Poplar Street. My beer tonight is the salted caramel pecan from 4204 Brewery in Belleville. I've had it on the show before. I enjoy it. It's kind of a desserty beer. But the reason why I have it tonight is because it's called a salted caramel pecan ale, and it's because the Blues are assaulting the opponents right now.
It's a nice segue.
Thank you. And I mean, it's good if you like caramel and pecan-y, and it's a sweet beer. It's good though. It's not one you have a bunch of. It's like when you have after,
It's a dessert.
It's a dessert beer. That's good. Good job by the folks at 4204. Today in Blues History, courtesy of the @STL Blues History Twitter account, February 13th, 2019.
Infamous day in Blues history.
A day that will go down in infamy, in painful infamy. 1999. St. Louis Blues goalie Rich Perrant suffered a scrotal contusion and ruptured testicle on a shot by Scott Pellerin during pregame warmups. He underwent surgery later in the day. I remember this happening. And the talk on Twitter is too. I thought it was McInnes that did it, and that's like the lore that McInnes took the shot. And I think the same thing.
You hear shot breaking testicle, and the first person in your mind is McInnes,
right? And but it was Pellerin. And yeah, that's a man. It's funny because the article attached to the tweet is it mentions players just kind of just like mumbling and shaking their heads and kind of cringing, and that's, I mean, scrotal contusion and ruptured testicle.
Yeah, I remember too. I remember that happening, and I want to say I don't remember if it was McLennan or not, because in the tweet that STL Blues History put out, he mentions a quote from McLennan where he just said "painful," and I remember them interviewing somebody on TV, and it might have been that exact same interview. I don't know, but they asked him, and it was like what do you think about what happened to Rich Perrant? And it was a like a bunch of those before there was an answer.
That's Family Guy. Pellerin was quoted as saying, "It's not good." It's a freak thing. It could happen to anybody. Thank God it doesn't happen to everybody. And then that led to a discussion on Twitter about hockey injuries that people have suffered, not that themselves, which was kind of interesting. So I had a couple stories.
Yeah.
Good chat, guys.
So I had in high school, former co-host of the show, Justin Wilson, was actually our high school goalie, and yeah, there was we had a little tradition at the end of warm-ups. The last shot taken was me from the red line blasting a shot towards his head. And, it was just kind of like a little funny thing, whatever, haha, like getting his head into the game kind of thing. Well, this one got away from me. It was a little lower, hit him right in the cup. He was not expecting it. And, I mean, you guys, if you've ever been hit in the cup before, I'm sure you have. It doesn't hurt, but it stings, and you can feel it, and it protects you, but it doesn't. And yeah, so he went down like a sack of potatoes, and I skated over. I was like, "Oh my God, man, I'm sorry." And he goes, "Apologize to the team, man. We're about to lose 10-0. He could not make a save to save his life. I felt pretty responsible for that one.
Yeah.
We've talked.
Yeah,
it's a good thing. My shot at Bill's head that made contact with his head with no helmet on did not become a tradition.
Yeah. No, the last season I played competitive hockey was practice when I was played a handful of games for the SIUE club team. Mm-hmm. And we were practicing as at Granite City, and that was usually you take a shot straight on, in the groin, in the midsection, because they'll never say, "Oh, he took that one off the dick" on the broadcast. But you take one that's just straight on, and you think that's got to be the most painful thing that you can deal with. No, we were doing some weird drill, and I forget the guy's name, but heavy left-handed shot off the boards at an angle coming across my body got me. And it was the closest I've ever come to puking from getting hit in the dick. It was awful. That was the end of my practice, and we were only 20 minutes in.
We were playing Team Missouri and I blocked a shot, and it got me on the bottom of the shin guard, where the padding is sewn to the plastic, cover. So there's not much padding there. And it was at the bottom of the shin guard, kind of the right. Man, that guy got all of it. And that thing swelled up like a baseball under my skin. Oh God, that hurt so bad. That may be the most pain I was in after getting hit by a puck. That sucked. That was awful. Mr. Blues Hat in the YouTube chat says, "Hey Bill, is that the sweater from the Mr. Rogers collection?"
That's right. It is.
It is.
Thank you for noticing. Yeah. I don't. It's been a couple weeks since I busted one out. Been doing jerseys, but yes, thank you for noticing. I have quite the Mr. Rogers collection.
Yeah, he does.
I like Bob Rakowski's comments. Scrotal Contusion will be my band name when I grow up.
It is a good band name.
When you grow up. How old are you, Bob? For some reason, I see the name Bob Rakowski. I think older gentleman. I don't know why I think that.
Yeah, I think of a little blue monster that's friends with a giant monster who scares children for a living.
It's Mike Wazowski.
Oh.
Very, very close.
So close.
Very close.
Missed it by that much.
1971. Today's date, 1971. Gary Unger scored his first of his 292 goals as a member of the St. Louis Blues in a 2-1 win versus the New York Rangers. Iron Man Gary Unger. I have a puck signed by him somewhere in here. So on to, you want to talk some Blues hockey?
Wait.
Oh, I guess.
Was it?
Oh, I guess so. If we have to. I mean, that's what this show's about. Right?
I mean, I really want to be angry. Like, they're not giving me a reason to be angry anymore.
Yeah, I know. I mean,
the show's just, it's not going to be as fun anymore.
I mean, we got to complain about something. I guess that's why you led the show off with your complaint about the reffing, because because there's not going to be a whole lot to complain about, I guess, in the show. We'll see.
F the refs.
I'm sure we'll find something.
Yeah.
So February was supposed to be a pretty tough month. We talked about this a couple weeks ago about how the February was going to be like a make or break month for the Blues. And they're making it so far.
Jesus.
I tell you what, with games to start the month versus Columbus, Tampa Bay, a back-to-back versus Nashville early on, a few easier games that we're in a stretch of now was New Jersey and Arizona and Colorado in the middle. And then after that, we've got Minnesota twice, Toronto, Dallas, Boston, Nashville again to finish out the month. So this is a tough month, and the Blues are currently they have 6 wins in this month, 6 games, 6 wins, no losses, 7 straight wins overall, dating back to January. 2 of the wins came at home, 4 on the road, 24 goals for, 13 goals against. They're now 28, 22, and 5 overall, 61 points, and are finally in the positive in the goal differential category. Finally.
By the way, it is so funny. I mean, funny now because it's, been a couple months since we've seen them get blown out a couple times in a row. It's funny how long it took them to get in the positive, because they were blown out so much early in the season that when they got to around 500, that's about when you should have seen the goal differential even out. No, it still wasn't. It took a couple more games.
Yeah, they were down by they were still negative 12 or something.
Yeah, something like that.
So they jumped up to the first wildcard spot, and are only 2 points behind Dallas for 3rd in the division. And they have a game in hand on Dallas. This is bananas to me. January 2nd, so 5.5 weeks ago, something like that. The Blues were 31st overall in the NHL, last. On February 13th, today, after last night's game, they've jumped all the way to 17th overall, which means they've jumped over 14 teams in 5.5 weeks. 14 teams in 5.5 weeks. They went 13-4-1 over that 18-game span. That 13-4-1 is really good. It's not, I guess it's not quite as good as you'd expect to say we jumped over 14 teams, but their advancement in the standings has also been helped by the fact that the teams around them are just not doing a whole lot. They're treading water or under 500. They're just not really playing that well. So that helps, and which is what the Blues needed. And they are turning up.
It's been such a perfect storm. I mean, we were saying just, man, a month ago, I remember on this show saying, when are we going to stop believing that if they could just get hot, they're right back in it, because we were, you'd see them win a game, you'd see them win 2 games, and you'd say, okay, here comes the surge. And then they would get blown out that 3rd game.
Yep.
And it's just, we kept saying, if they could just, it's not going to happen. Stop telling yourself it's going to happen. Well, here you are, 7-game win streak now? The record you just rattled off, the goal differential improving. I mean, all of a sudden it happens, and look at that. The Blues are 2 points out of 3rd in the Central, which is crazy. I mean, you would have told us this at the turn of the calendar, and you would have been laughed at by all 3 of us.
Yeah, and it's not like, I mean, they're doing this against bottom of the barrel teams where someone could come in and say, oh, well, they're playing cream puffs right now, that's why they're turning it up. No,
they just beat 2 of the 4 best teams in hockey, 3 straight wins, and not ticky-tack wins. They were convincing wins. Great team efforts.
Yeah, no, they're playing. They're doing what they need to do. Finally, Mr. Blues Hat said, but as you say, without other teams monumentally tanking, we're still out of it. Yeah, we wouldn't be where we are now, obviously, but I think there's still a nice chunk of games to go. So I mean, I think they'd be in the hunt, but they could easily be 6 to 8 points out of it still. Right. If teams were playing well, and they're just not. I mean, that could. But here's the deal: teams could turn it on. I mean, you see it all the time where you're trying to gain ground, you just can't because teams are playing well around you. So that may happen, but I'll take it right now.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of fear in Blues fans right now is, we're doing great, but are we peaking too soon? Is this just going to swing back the other way and teams going to overtake us?
Yeah, that's a worry. I mean, I'm still kind of in awe category of enjoying this right now because it was kind of just really shitty for so long. I mean, the goaltending was just not there, what like it needed to be, and the defensive zone responsibilities were awful. We weren't scoring goals, just making stupid mistakes. When's the last time we had too many men penalty? It's been a while, has it? I haven't noticed one. Has it been a while?
Haven't noticed one in
a while.
So even that's been gotten better. So it's really weird how things have just turned around. But I saw an interesting little graph that showed the Blues progress in points, whatnot, and how they played. So the turning point, according to this graph, they showed the spot at which the Bertuzzo-Sanford fight happened in practice, and when that happened, the team took off. Now, I'm not saying that's definitely what turned the team around, but is it a coincidence? Maybe, but it's funny because I had a conversation with somebody at the time it happened. I was like, you know what? And we talked about it on the show. It really was not that big of a story. It was blown out of proportion because it was on video. That's the only reason. If it wasn't on video, it would have gotten a mention by Korak and Rutherford and the guys and the reporters that saw it, and it would have gotten some discussion, but it wouldn't have been what it was. But because
little dust up. Yeah,
it was a dust up, and it's fine. But and I said, that could be something that could, it can only help the team. It's not gonna. I don't think it's gonna hurt the team. It can help. I mean, the way the Blues were playing, it could have only helped. It couldn't have hurt them anymore. And man, there was who was it? I forgot who it was. Basically said that anybody who said that it could have helped the team is an idiot. And yeah, how people are online. And so I went back and found it today, and I looked it up and oh yeah, that's how it went. That's just kind of funny. So, and I kind of replied to the chart where it showed that point is where they actually started to play better. So that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, I mean, well, we talked about it on this show, and I think we all were in agreement. Not that, oh no, it can be a positive. Like that really wasn't our thought. It was that, like you said, Kurt, that it's a nothing thing. I mean, this happens in hockey. I mean, I think I even told the story about the time that my teammate and I got in a fight on the bench during a game one time. I mean,
well, you sound like a joy to play hockey with. What, you're fighting teammates?
Would you believe that I'm normally the captain of my teams?
Even I never fought a teammate, I don't think.
Yeah, I fought him. Well,
Bill.
You know, he's a listener of the show, and I'll just go ahead and say it because he knows it's true. He's a dick, so he deserved it. But no, I mean, that was years ago. That was when I was on roids.
Yeah, that explains things now. Okay.
Yeah, that's why I'm so flabby now.
I was going to say the anger issue, the rage issues.
Yeah, no, but it's such a nothing thing that happens. I mean, we've all seen it. You know, we talked about Tarasenko and Backus getting into it years ago. That didn't blow up at all, and that was in the social media age. It's because there wasn't video of it.
That's a bigger deal too. I mean, as far as like star power goes, that's a much bigger story to me.
Yeah, and the fact that it was the captain,
right, and captain your best player,
right?
Wow.
Captain putting the best player in his place,
right?
And it was a captain that knows how to fight too. You know, it wasn't just like Al McInnes getting in it with someone. It's David Backus who knows how to throw him. So yeah, I mean that was a much bigger deal. And then there was years ago, I remember Kelly Chase got in a fight with somebody in practice because I think it was a kid that hit McInnes a little too hard. And it's just it happens. It's part of the game. I mean, I hate to say it, and it's the same thing with Mike Yeo in Minnesota when he went on his rampage, his tangent in practice. Right before they turned it around, right before they got Devin Dubnyk, that got so much coverage, but it's because it was on camera. If that doesn't happen on camera, I don't think anyone in St. Louis, anyone outside of Minnesota is discussing it. But it made NHL on NBC because there was full video of him chewing out his players.
Yep. So you got this month started with the game against Tampa Bay. This nice little. Well, Tampa Bay was the first game of the month, right? Yeah. Yes. Highest, best team in the NHL, highest scoring team in the NHL. Binnington got the start, got the shutout, stopped all 32 shots. This was a game for me. This was a game where I probably yelled pretty fucking loud when they won in overtime. That was a emotional win.
Yes.
That was.
Yeah, that was the first time that I have jumped off the couch about a Blues play since the playoffs 2 years ago. I mean, it was, God, I was so jacked, scared the hell out of all three dogs. It was a beautiful moment.
Yeah, my kids sit up with me and watched it, and they were talking about how Daddy yelled after when the goal was scored. Which that's what I do.
CPS showed up the next day.
Yeah, right. Yep. Like, oh yeah, they're fine.
I'm pretty good friends with a guy who's a very big Lightning fan, and we were talking back and forth in this game, and I told him that about the middle of the second period, I'm like, this is one of the most exciting games I've seen the Blues play this year, and he actually said, "Really?" Because I hate this game. This is the sloppiest game I've seen the Lightning play, and I'm like, that doesn't make me feel good.
Well, you know what though? You just say this. You say, well, the Blues made them play sloppy.
Yeah, I mean that's honestly what the conclusion I came to on myself was. I just said, hey, that means the Blues are playing well. They're giving the best team in the league a run for their money.
That always happens, though. I mean, when your team plays well in your mind, you're watching your team play. You think they're playing well. They're making the plays. They're causing the other team to not make plays. you feel your team plays well, and the other team says the team plays like shit. When the Blues were getting beat early in the season, what do we say? They're playing like shit. So I'm sure the other teams felt that they were causing a lot of the Blues turnovers and bad decisions and stuff like that. So there's a little truth to both probably, but I think that that's pretty much the case whenever a team loses like that. And you know what? To be honest, I think the Blues are probably still thought of as, well, maybe not quite right now, but maybe when this game happened, people are still thinking the Blues were kind of bottom cellar dweller. They got a lot more press lately.
Right. This
we're
was
losing
a game,
Blues.
Yeah, this is a game I think that cemented it for a lot of people that it wasn't a fluke, that it appears to be more than a fluke, that the run that they went on. I mean, to go into Tampa and shut that team out. I mean, it was a hell of a goaltender's duel until the leaky goal that Shen scored. But first shot in overtime, dude. Isn't that crazy?
I know.
Both teams,
4 minutes ago, but
right. Both teams, tons of possession. Nobody shoots the puck, and
it's such a chess game in overtime too. I mean,
nobody wants to turn over the puck.
Sometimes you get the run and gun back and forth. Other times you get trying to set things up. Nope, doesn't look good. Back out of the zone, start out, reset, come back in, pass around, go real slow, curl around. Sometimes the play goes that way. Sometimes it's and as soon as there's a scoring chance, then all bets are off, because where's the puck going after the shot? Then it could be back and forth. So, and it wasn't quite that way. Mandarin Melon in the YouTube chat says it wasn't sloppy on the part of Tampa. It was stick on puck clinic by the Blues. The Blues shut them down. That I don't think I'm being biased here. I agree with that. For the most part, I think the Blues just played a really good defensive game, and I say that because they've been playing pretty darn good defensive hockey for the most part for the past since late December, mid-December,
since Bennington took over.
Well, yeah, then, but they were playing better. They were playing better before that too, I thought. Their play had tightened up a lot better.
Absolutely. Jabo really turned his game on. Gunnarsson, I mean, I thought for sure when he went down, we would lose a step, but no, everybody is so committed to playing defensive hockey right now. It's great.
Yeah, forwards back. I mean, everybody is just being a lot more responsible. Forwards, and you just don't see the blatantly poorly missed assignments around the net like we did early in the season, which is so
right.
I mean,
you're not seeing Patrick Kane getting the lane straight down the middle.
Right. It's like, what the hell? Yeah, and in the Nashville game, which we'll talk about in a little while, that's what happened on Tarasenko's goal. Yeah, when they
busted coverage.
The busted coverage, and they were the play was going back the other way, and number 10 for Nashville, whoever he bolted the other way. Mm-hmm. He took like 4 or 5 strides and stopped, left the lane way open, and Tarasenko slid in there and got that really beautiful pass from Shen, and then put it by Saros. So, or was it Saros? Yeah. So, but the game against Nashville then. The first game against Nashville on Saturday. I went to Sunrise Brewery to watch this one. It was that was a blast. Yeah, it was so much fun. Usually that place empties out, because people go to the game. They leave the shuttles and stuff, but it did kind of. But then just a few minutes into the game, the place just sucked up Blues fans, and it was really packed a few minutes into the game. So that was pretty fun. But this was a fun game too. They played, and the play from Tampa just continued. It seemed like they played a really good game.
Well, it's funny because I said earlier that I was texting my buddy Tampa fan that this was the most exciting game of the season. Then Saturday happens. That was the most exciting game of the season. I mean, that was back and forth. We'll get into Sunday's game. I actually enjoyed this game more than Sunday, and I think you guys probably agree. Yeah, because, and a lot of people are saying, oh, Sunday's game is one of the best games of the year for the entire NHL. That's just because that's those people that don't want defense. Like, I love a strong defensive goaltending game with plenty of scoring chances, but goalies coming up big. And that was Saturday's game. Binnington played great again. Rene was Rene. I mean, Rene is always strong against the Blues. And there was a couple back and forth. There was a little bit of Blues get a chance, Predators take it down, they get a chance. I mean, it was fast. It was nasty, which, oh my God, I loved. Because I actually, the night before, had watched a game from like 2001 Sharks series with the Blues. And I mean, every single play, there was a hit. You had the puck, you were going to get hit in that series. And skirmishes after whistles. And it was just, and then I'm like, man, I really wish I wouldn't have watched that before today's game, because this isn't going to be as exciting to me. They were nasty. There was some skirmishes after plays. There was hitting hard into the boards. The referees were, the maroon fight to kick it off. I mean, that was some exciting hockey. That was some old school hockey with plenty of scoring chances. Pretty much, if you're wanting to get somebody into hockey, show them that game, because I thought that was a perfect game for both teams. It's a division game too, so it's like I mean, it's, you know, the game against Tampa was fantastic, but it's a interconference game. It's you know, but this game against Nashville, it's a division rival, so it's amped up already,
right? And going into, you know, so the home game Saturday, totally expected letdown, just because we play like shit and, you know, non-evening games. The record hasn't been great, and it turned out, like you guys said, just to be the most exciting home game of the year so far. And I think a lot of people going into Sunday, now you're getting, you know, you get the back-to-back games, and it really does feel like the playoffs. And people started, the national media, since it was on NBC on Sunday, they were all drooling at the end of the game that if playoffs started today, this would be your first round matchup. Yeah, let's start it right now. And that's, wouldn't that be great? Oh, to play Nashville? I love it. Oh, you trying to get revenge from a few years ago with the in the playoffs? Oh, yeah. I'm all about revenge in the playoffs. Like I always said, right, when the Hawks were beating the Blues, I'm like, no, give me the fucking Blackhawks again. I want to beat them. I don't want to beat somebody else. I want to beat them. And then when we beat them in 7 games, I'm like, fucking yes, that was fantastic. Yeah, that's an ongoing discussion that we've had on this show. We've all said, like, people think we're crazy because I think it was 16. We said we want the Blackhawks. Then we want to play the Sharks. Then we want to play the Kings. Then we want to play the Red Wings. That's what I want, because we've talked about it on the show. All the demons. Yes, and Kurt, you said this. I think you said this last week, that the beauty of the playoffs is just so much fun. I mean, your team could lose in 4 or 5 games, but that's 4 or 5 exciting fucking hockey games. And yeah, Blues play Nashville. There's a decent chance the Blues lose that series, but you know what? Those are going to be some hard-hitting games, some strong defense, great goaltending. If who we think is going to be in net will be in net, but we'll get to that in a little bit. It's just, that's the series I want to see, because that is going to be a wear and tear series that whoever is left standing is the one that's going to win.
Dunn scored first in the Saturday game. Nice goal, 5 minutes in. Little toe drag around Rene, who couldn't pick the puck up. Yep, fouled himself, his own rebound, picked it off his pads and stuffed it. Yeah, you could tell Rene didn't know where the puck was, which was helpful. Yes. And then the goal we talked about late in the first period, the fantastic behind the back pass from Shen to Tarasenko, who was cruising down the slot unnoticed, which happened because Nashville had the puck for a second. And the Blues forced a turnover. Whether I think it was O'Reilly and Shen, one of them got a stick on and knocked it away. But as soon as they gained possession, boom, players from Nashville, a couple of them started to go up the ice, and one left the slot unattended, and the Blues got it right back, and that was Shen. And he looked and saw Tarasenko slide right down the slot, and right where the defenseman, the forward was covering the area, and it was wide open. Received the pass, and just smoked Rene blocker side. So that was, I mean. And that's a goal that the Blues were giving up early in the season. That was not it happens because turnover. I mean, it's a turnover, and obviously you're going the other way, and that burned the Blues a number of times. It seemed to be the kind of goal the Blues would give up, but not get. Yeah, right, exactly. Now and everything is like turning. It's done a complete, as some folks would say, it's done a complete 360. No,
yeah, no, complete 360.
Stop halfway. Stop. 540.
God, the Blues and they made a 7-10 here, guys. It's been crazy. And like that is something that we have talked about on this show. And I mean, I still will stand by what I've said in the past, even when the Blues were losing, that go back and listen. We don't need to rehash it. But when it comes to trading players, yeah, I'd still like to see something, maybe not this season because it's working. But I mean, Tarasenko, we'll get to him next game, but holy cow, he looks like Tarasenko of 3 years ago. Ryan O'Reilly, we've talked about him all year, has been phenomenal. Everyone outside of Robbie Fabry has stepped up their game so well that it's exactly what we thought we were getting going into the season. And you can blame coaching if you want. I don't know. It's probably as much mental as it is coaching, but this is what we thought we were getting all season. And it's just, they're getting those chances. I mean, you're seeing, if that would have happened 2 months ago, I feel like Tarasenko is not going to that spot. Schen's not hitting him with a pass. They're making the plays they need to make to capitalize on mistakes by the other team. We just weren't seeing that months ago, and you're seeing it now. I mean, this is what a good hockey team does, and it's so exciting to watch.
Tarasenko is quickly, all of a sudden, now is leading the team in goals, 22.
Yep.
Past O'Reilly, who has 21. The first goal that Bennington gave up in the Saturday game was probably the worst goal I've seen him give up since the bad angle shot that Ekholm had that off the cuff of the trapper, and then it was going wide, barely, and it hit the cuff and then just kind of changed directions, went over and up and in. It was a bad angle, it was a bad goal. It was a fluky kind of a thing, but that's something he's got to have.
It was a Jake Allen-esque against the Wild.
I was not going to go there, but yeah, you're right. But
somewhere Roman Turek was watching and smiling.
But here's the thing with that goal is that, and I'm not trying to make excuses for Bennington. It was a soft goal, it was a bad goal, a terrible goal. But here's the thing: bad goals. Every goalie in the league is going to give up bad soft goals from time to time. That you can't avoid them. I don't care who you are. So it really, so they're going to happen. So the idea is to keep them the soft goals to a minimum, as few and far between as possible, right? So, and how do you respond to a goal that goes in? How does the goalie play after the soft goal? How does the team play after a soft goal? Anyway, and Bennington's 11 starts, he's got 9-1-1, I think he is. That's easily, I think, the worst goal he's given up. And really, maybe he has another soft one, kind of, but he's not a lot of bad goals at all. So I mean, he's been very good at, it's a bad goal, and he doesn't. Well, he goes games without allowing another one like that.
Yeah,
so I think that's important.
You hit the nail on the head when you said it's not giving up the bad goal, it's how you respond. And let's face it, when Jake Allen gave up a bad goal, the team wasn't responding. And that's because it was a game-by-game basis, and I'm not – listen, Allen fans, I'm not trying to bash Jake Allen. It's that when he has an off night, he really has an off night. And he'll give up a bad goal one game, 2 bad goals the next game, 1 bad goal the next game. And so when it happens, the players, in a mental thing are saying, okay – next shot's probably going in too, and they just lose all confidence. Bennington, and then when Elliott was goalie too, I think this is what happened. They would make a bad goal would go in, and then they pick themselves up and say, "All right, let's rally around it. Let's Jordan gave up an easy one. Let's go out and equalize this. Let's go out and make Rene give up a bad goal." I mean, it's a completely different mentality because you have way more confidence in your goaltender. And I just don't think they have that with Allen.
And a few minutes later, the Blues responded. Barbashev, whacks away at the loose puck in front of Rene. And John Kelly calls him McEachran. Put the extra R in there. And stuffs in the third whack overall to restore the 2-goal lead. So the Blues responded nicely. They played well. after the bad goal, and they got a goal to get the 2-goal lead back. So, and then which is how it stayed. It stayed 3-1 until Schwartz missed the empty net goal from center ice, which I'm like at the time you're like, son of a bitch.
Yeah. This
This guy cannot score. He can't even score on a goalieless net. So
not it wasn't Patrick Stefan level bad. Remember when he missed the empty net against the Oilers?
Oh, well, that wasn't his fault though. That the puck hopped on him.
But,
Oh,
but
please.
the Oilers went back the other way and tied
Oh, I know.
the game.
But the Oilers lost in overtime.
Yeah.
So that's
Are you
Blues
serious?
miracle, Monday Night Miracle, losing the Game 7 kind of story. It's a weird
How
game.
can you really saying that that's not Patrick Stefan's fault?
I'm saying that what I'm saying is that he carries the puck down and he wants to basically just slide it in all the way in the goal. And I mean, the puck hops over his blade, and then I guess he's playing it too casual. He's like, oh shit, and tries to stop it. And he slides and falls down, and they go the other way and they score. I mean, what would you have wanted him to do?
Shoot it.
Yes.
Okay. Well,
you shoot the goddamn puck.
You shoot the puck before getting to the side of the net and falling down.
You don't slide the puck in. You go on a breakaway with no goalie. You're sliding it from the hash marks at the least.
I'm just saying, it's not all the puck hops over your blade right when you go to just he went to just backhand it in, and the puck hops over his stick. I mean, that's a tough break. The gods were not on his side.
Ray Ferraro disagrees with you. The man retired shortly after.
Oh my god!
He ripped him a new one.
Patrick Stefan, you cannot let that happen.
You should be embarrassed.
Yeah, that's exactly what he said.
Well, Dallas won the game, but I'm just it was yeah, sure. I'd probably shoot it too, but I'm just saying that had the puck not magically jumped over his blade right when he went to backhand it in, he scored.
But come on, Kurt, as a forward, you understand. I mean, you don't let that happen because you don't let it get that far. You get a chance at the net, you just put it in the net.
Sundqvist opened empty net goal the other night where he kind of juggled the puck coming into across the blue line, and it looked like he kind of almost had trouble with it on backhand, and he skated in, and I'm like, man, he might miss this. You know what I mean? The other night, and but he put it in. So if the puck bounces over it when he comes in, instead of firing into the net, he just kind of slid it in. If it pops over his stick, I mean, is that his fault too?
Yeah.
I'm just okay.
You have a chance to put the puck in an empty net.
I'm not saying it's not his fault. I'm just saying I don't think he deserves the wrath of Ray Ferraro that came down on him to the level it was. I think yeah. Well, if the fucking puck doesn't pop up in the air, it goes in. It's not that part was not Stefan's fault. Otherwise, I'll give you that. He should have. I mean, you can. Sure. He's trying to, anything going through his mind, I'm sure he's trying to just skate it in as close as possible so I can't possibly miss this shot. I'll just push it in and it pops over his blade. That's his reasoning was not awful.
We're just gonna have to agree to this.
His thought process was not crazy.
Right. He just got too casual.
He was casual doing it. I'll give you that.
He got too casual.
Because when it did pop over his blade, he tried to slam on the brakes and he fell down. So
for those of you that have no idea what we're talking about, go on to YouTube right now. It's an excellent video if you haven't seen it.
Yeah. But we digress.
Really, Edmonton. I'm pissed. I'm pissed that game at Edmonton for not winning in overtime. You got to fucking win that game.
Yeah, you're giving that lifeline, and that was a playoff.
Oh, and that was right because Joseph had just made a huge save right before that.
Yep.
Huge save. Yeah. Right. Yeah. So
yeah. We digress.
Right.
Schwartz misses the empty net. We all knew at that point Nashville's getting a goal.
Yeah. And
we knew at that point too. I mean, we'll talk about the game up here in a little bit, but at that point, I even said that dude's never going to score another goal in the NHL. Right? Well, I mean, that was what was going through all of our heads.
I mean, his last goal that he scored before that game was on an empty net. He hadn't scored in a goalie in like 30 whatever games, whatever it was, 31 games, I think. It was terrible. So Schwartz misses the goal, and then Johansson. I don't think Johansson got enough credit for this goal. This was an amazing shot. I mean, not the shot itself, but the fact that he actually got it off, because it was, huh?
Oh wait, no, that's the next game.
This is the one that the block shot that fluttered up, 8 feet in the air, whatever it was, and then comes down at his feet,
right?
And he winds up, and he takes a slap shot, and as soon as he makes contact with that puck, as soon as it hits the ice,
right?
His timing had to be perfect.
Right. If
he's off by 1/10 of a second, that puck's going fluttering up in the air. He's missing it. Right. And
it's like a perfect volley shot.
Yeah. Yes. It was unbelievable. And I mean, I was at a bar at the time, but I don't think they gave him quite enough credit for how crazy good that shot was.
He's a hell of a player. When Columbus was looking to trade him because of whatever his issues with Tortorella or whatever, I was really hoping the Blues would get him. I love his skill set. I love his game, but obviously now I have to hate him because he's on Nashville.
Yeah, I don't like his overtime faceoff skills, but
neither does the referee apparently.
Anyway, the Blues win the game 3-2, outshoot Nashville 33-31. It was like the 4,000th game in a row the Blues outshot their opponents. And that streak came to an end on Sunday because Nashville outshot the Blues 44 to something. And so I think that was the first time the Blues had been outshot in like 20 games, something like that. So battle of the backups on Sunday. Allen got the start in this one. Saros was in net for Nashville. And Blues jump out 2-0 once again, which was I'm sitting at home watching the game. I'm like pissing myself. I can't believe this is all happening. I'm like, Tampa Bay and Nashville yesterday, and we're fucking up 2-0 to get on Nashville again. This is ridiculous.
Yeah. God. This was it was the Tarasenko snipe shot, right?
Yeah. Well, first one was Pietrangelo,
right,
off the post and in, which was a great shot. And the second one,
cut down the middle.
Oh God,
where's Nashville's D?
I don't know. I mean, they were there, but they just didn't. I don't know. I guess they didn't get in the shooting lane. But to be fair, yeah, every time, right? Every time. The shot was from, it wasn't in tight. It was, top of the circles or something like that. So it was a good shot.
It was a heads up play.
Yeah, it was fantastic. So, and then Tarasenko's goal, my God.
Fine ripper.
And I think if he was a righty, this shot would have been like, okay, that's just a good snipe.
Right.
But a lefty from that spot on the ice, beating him
across the grain,
and beating Saros far upper.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was amazing. A sneaky good. That shot was fantastic. And that's a shot that was.
Oh, I was just going to say that Saros's reaction on that was, you could tell he was just kind of like, yeah, there's nothing I can do about that.
Well,
and it's rare you see a goalie not really have a reaction after a goal, and that's what it was.
Well, and that followed the Pietrangelo shot that rang off the post and a fantastic shot. And the second one is another fantastic shot that beats him. He's like, motherfucker.
Yeah, right. What do I have to do here?
So and this is a shot that Tarasenko would have shot wide, would have wrapped on the boards and went out of the zone a month ago.
Yeah, we weren't getting that kind of accuracy.
No,
it hit the post or 5 feet wide.
And it's so strange that I mean, I guess when things come together, things really fucking come together. I mean, we're not just getting good goaltending. We're not just getting better play on our own end. We're not just scoring more goals. We're sniping corners. The
right guys are getting hot.
Yes, it's so. I feel like George Papar on the A team saying, "I love when a plan comes together." It's fantastic.
Amen.
By the way, that is quite the dated reference. Good work, sir.
Oh, the A team is always in style.
Oh, always. I never saw the remake movie. Was that any good?
No.
With The Rock and was it? Who was in it?
It was
Bradley Cooper was in it, right?
Oh, that's right.
Was face.
The Rock was in it, wasn't he? No, I think so. Who was?
No, it wasn't The Rock.
It was BA.
Who was BA? I don't know. I didn't watch it.
It wasn't great.
Kimbo Slice.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah.
Was it Kimbo? I don't know. I was totally guessing.
No, I thought it was. I don't know. I haven't seen it. That sounded
anyway. Irrelevant. So yeah, what's amazing, and we've talked about this on the show, and you guys have played hockey as long as I have. That I mean, and it's such a cliche nowadays to say this, but hockey is such a mental game. It's all in your head. I mean, there are times, even with me in my fucking men's league, I'll go on a scoring tear, but then I won't score for 25 games. And it's just like, I literally just had 10 goals in 10 games right before this. What happened? And you get in your own head, you overthink it. I mean, there are times where you have the puck in the slot. All you got to do is wrist a shot, blocker side, but you're still going to shoot it glove side because you're just so worried about getting the puck to the back of the net for one time. I mean, look at Jaden Schwartz. I bet the goals start coming now. I mean, again, we'll get into that a little bit here.
Hadn't scored 31 games, and he really should have had 2 last night. That one that was interference was border. That was tough.
Nah,
that was tough. I do too. But that's a tough goal. I mean, he interfered, but it's not. I've seen worse not called. I'll say that.
We've said that it's kind of just a drop in the bucket. Whatever the Toronto thinks it should be that night, that's what it's going to be. It changes all the time in goal interference. But
yeah, I told my daughter, I said that I said it's probably not going to count. I said I'd count it, but they're probably going to take it away.
Now, and we talk about the psyche of Jake Allen, and it's he's fragile, and the only reason that you see goalies be fragile is because that's one position on the ice. There's only 2 guys that are going to play that position all night, so it's easy to zero in and say that's a fragile goalie right there. Well, guess what? There's fragile skaters. There's guys that just cannot break out of slumps. They can't get themselves out of their own heads. And I honestly believe that Jaden Schwartz was one of those guys. I think Tarasenko was one of those guys for a little while. And we'll see with Schwartz. I mean, the verdict's still out on him, how he's going to react here. But you look at David Perron, not playing well. We talked about the offensive zone penalties. Before he got injured, he was lighting up the scoreboard after he got healthy scratched. And I think it's a confidence thing. You get that one goal, and you just say, holy shit, I remember how to do this now. And it just opens the floodgates.
Everybody, almost every player in the NHL is streaky to some degree, some more than others. I mean, O'Reilly has been pretty damn consistent. And that's not the norm. That is something that's elite level stuff. The vast majority of players in the NHL are streaky. They'll get they'll get 3 goals in 5 games and then not score for half a dozen, and it's
Tarasenko's that way.
Yeah.
Schwartz goes 3 seasons between goals.
Right. Yeah. But I think sometimes the whole streakiness thing is the whole, gosh, hasn't scored in so long, is kind of overblown a little bit, because I think every player has that. Now Schwartz's thing was a bit extreme. It was 31 games, right? He hadn't scored in something like that.
So. Yeah.
That's pretty near half a season.
Yeah.
So,
and going into last night's game, over the last 5 games, he had been shooting the puck every chance he got.
Yeah.
And it was just a matter of time.
And Tarasenko, he's 11 goals in his last 22 games or something like that.
Something like that, yeah.
So he's back on track.
Yeah, I mean, and that's why you always talk about depth scoring. That's why it's so important for teams to make sure they find that depth, and that's why Nashville went out and got a guy like Brian Boyle, because these superstars on these teams, these guys are going to hit those moments where they're not connecting. They're not connecting with their line mates. Nothing's working for them. They can't get the puck to go to the back of the net. I always think back to Pittsburgh with Crosby and Malkin. Crosby will have a down game, but Malkin's putting up 4 points, and then vice versa the next night. That's why you need to have this depth scoring, because, like you said, Kurt, to a certain degree, every player is a streaky player. They're going to have an off night. They're going to have a couple off nights, and you need to rely on the rest of your offense to pick up the slack when that player is not finding the back of the net that night.
How many times do you hear so and so? Oh, it's the first goal in 6 games, something like that. And who's a good player who scores 30 goals a season and is always his first goal in 5 or 6 games. That happens all the time. Predators cut the lead in half. Tarasenko is back checking. Excuse me. And kind of left, went to the middle, left Arvidsson on the side of the net. Pass goes kind of through, off of Allen and through Tarasenko, and then to Arvidsson, who has basically a tap in. But again, Blues respond with a goal fairly soon after, less than a minute later. Bozak gets a strange goal by Bozak, the slap backhander that went through traffic. And again, so Saros in this game has the Petrangelo goal. He's got the Tarasenko goal and then the Bozak goal.
Right.
It's like all of a sudden it's 3 goals, and he's like, I don't think I had a shot on any of them.
Right.
So
well, you're not expecting that shot from Bozak.
No.
And it's weird. So watching highlights last night of the Detroit game, and Anastasiou.
Happy to see you.
Happy to see you. He did that, and somebody, the broadcaster made the comment, slap backhander. When was the last time you saw that? Like, Sunday. Did you watch the Blues game?
Yeah.
It was beauty. Yeah, but yeah, as a goalie, you're not expecting that shot.
No, and it's through traffic. It was through traffic too. I mean, there was only 2 guys. I mean, that's tough. That's a tough puck to pick up. I mean,
that's just one of those where it's just, I just got to get this shit on net.
Oh, sure.
That's what's going through Bozak's head, and sometimes it works.
Yep. So Blues had a 3-1 lead going in the 3rd period. So you're feeling pretty good about it. And then on Twitter, the infamous wraparound Yossi goal, where you have a comment on this goal about how Allen played it?
It sounds like Bill has something to say.
Because I think Bill wants to talk.
So disgusting. Just the difference between Jake Allen and Jordan Binnington is exposed in that play right there. Binnington, you go back to the Florida game when you heard them. Florida was the Tampa Bay game when you heard Darren Pang talk about Scotty Bowman and Les Binkley, a past great goaltender in the NHL, talking about how great Binnington's feet are. Jake Allen doesn't have that. He overslides his position. We've been bitching about that since he's been given the number 1 position. That's the one thing he needs to work on in his game. Stop sliding so far out of the damn net. He overcommitted there. He overcommitted not too long before that. Yossi had another wraparound attempt. I think Dunn stopped it.
Dunn saved the bacon on that play.
But it's the exact same fucking thing, and he did the exact same fucking thing.
He didn't learn.
He didn't learn.
He should have learned. In the same fucking game, he should have learned from it. I agree.
Overslid it. Terrible.
Bill, I want to ask you, and I'm being serious here. I'm not, trying to pump to what did Roberto Luongo used to say about Thomas pumping his tires? Whatever. I don't know. Whatever. I want to ask you. So a wraparound goal, and we don't see wraparounds a lot nowadays. I know everybody would want to make a Dmitry Yashkin joke here, but as a goalie, what goes through your head? A guy goes behind the net. What are you looking for? Obviously, it can be a quick play. It can be, we saw Gretzky do it a ton. What is a goalie expect to? Are you expecting a wraparound? And if you are, like, how is that different than any other play that goes behind the net?
Well, I think in that particular play, what you have to do as a goalie is you have to cut down the angle to the post. And the only way Allen can do that, because he's just not positionally sound, is to overslide. And that's what he did. But that forces the guy to do a wraparound and, hope that they can whip it, make the tight turn and whip it back in front. And in this case, Allen was scrambling back over and it goes off of him and into the net. But I think the problem is him trying to cut the angle down and being too aggressive in doing so instead of just, being positionally sound, easing back, cutting the angle without having to go 2, 3, 4 feet out of the net to force the guy wide. That's just that shouldn't be the play. I'd rather see him get beat short side by Yossi than try to attack him in that position and expose the wraparound.
If you're going to attack him, take him out.
True.
You know what I mean?
Right. Make contact.
Yeah, I mean, but
when real quick, sorry, I just want to ask one more question with this. So my when I see a guy, so there's a guy in one of my leagues, I know that his big play is he likes to do the stuff in wraparound. Every time I see him go behind the net, I start yelling. I was like, wraparound to my goalie, and he knows. And we've, as far as I can remember, this goalie's never allowed a wraparound to this guy. So, Bill, is it that you're looking for your teammates to give you help there, or is it just you reading the play that helps you understand that this guy's probably going to take it around the net and try to wrap it around on me?
Well, I think it's the latter, but by playing it that way, you force your team to have to be there to cut him off coming back around the other side. But the teams in that position, even though, or in that scenario, even though Dunn was the guy that came to the rescue the first time around, it wasn't there the second time. And
I mean, well,
in the teams, like, I'm sure, I don't know, I can't recall who the defenders were in that play, but I'm sure their thought is, surely you're not going to do that again.
It was Edmondson and Thomas.
Yeah,
the two sticks. I think it went off Edmondson's stick.
Yeah, it did.
Edmondson's stick, and then off of Allen's side, because there was such a gap between the post and his side. And actually, if the sticks weren't there, that puck might have gone in because it's close. His pad is almost there at the post, but I think it might have gone in that wraparound because his pad was it was a good 6 inches when that puck was starting to be jammed across. And the sticks came really close. So I don't think Jake would have got about the six there. So it probably goes in anyway if the sticks aren't there. So to blame the sticks as causing the goal is kind of disingenuous because it probably goes in anyway.
Yeah, there was definitely some room there.
Yeah,
that was
cool.
And then the first goal. I mean, we mentioned it that happened earlier with Vince Dunn. I remember thinking, how is there that much of a gap there to where the defenseman's stick has to be there to stop it? And then it happens again. I mean, it was about the size of 2 or 3 pucks where he had enough gap there to put the puck in the net, and that just can't happen on a wraparound.
No, not in the third period at in this kind of game. But I mean, so that goal made it 3-2, and then Arvidsson scores a few minutes later, and the building is going bananas. It's tied up at 3. And then Tarasenko scores a goal that is deflected off of Ellis and bounces by Saros, who did his best Vladimir Mishkin impersonation after it went in, which I thought was funny. But that was a big goal because then with 7:07 to go, Forsberg had a nice individual effort to tie it up again, getting his own rebound in front and then going top shelf on Allen.
Yeah. Defense can't back in.
No, they can't.
You got to play the body in that. And they gave him just enough space to get a shot and follow his own rebound in the net. After the initial shot, there should have been, splinters in his mouth or carbon fiber splinters in his mouth from getting fucking cross-checked. You can't in there.
I agree. I mean, that's a play where, maybe if it's a fourth line guy, maybe you let him have that extra room and you say, okay, well, Jake's got this and, no problem. But when it's a skill guy like Forsberg who can do anything with the puck, anywhere on the ice, you can't let him have that room. You just cannot let him skate by you and get his own rebound there. You can blame Jake Allen all you want. He's going to score that. He's going to score that goal on almost any goalie in the league because he's that persistent on the puck and he is that good of hand-eye coordination to say, okay, there's no way he's covering the rebound here. I just have to poke it in after he makes the initial save.
The only goal I had a problem with was the wraparound goal that went in. That's on Allen. I thought he played that poorly. I thought he was fine otherwise.
I agree.
I have no problem with Allen in that game except for that one goal. And then the overtime unfair puck drop, which was kind of hilarious. I put the GIF up on Twitter, and Johansson said it was unfair puck drop. His stick wasn't down, and fuck you. You had 8 seconds to put your stick down on the ice, and you didn't do it. The official tells you to put your stick down, and you still don't do it, and then you start to, and then you're trying to time it to where your stick's coming down in a sweeping motion, and the puck drops, so you get the advantage. Basically, trying to cheat on this face-off, and the official dropped it before he got his puck stick down there, and then he says, "What the hell?" and he puts his hands out like, "You didn't drop it fairly." It's like, fuck you. You had 10 seconds to get your stick down on the ice, and you didn't do it, and then you try and cheat, and the official said, you should have got your stick down, and good for the official.
Yeah,
that's, I mean, right. The bitch about it after the game to the media.
No, you see that a lot with the home team, because for those that don't know, the rule is that the away team gets to put their stick down first, and then the home team comes in second, and that's kind of like you said, Kurt. That's kind of what the home team player does. I mean, you watch the next home game for the Blues. Ryan O'Reilly, Braden Shen, all these guys, they're gonna try that too. Rob Thomas, they're gonna do the same thing. But to bitch about it, because really, in the spirit of the face-off, that's really not what you're supposed to do. No. It's your sticks are on the ice, puck hits the ice, you both sweep at it. And he didn't. It's a risk to do that. It's a low risk, but it's a risk to do the last second sweep, but you're getting more power behind it. You're able to kind of knock his stick off the puck sometimes about half the time, but other times you're just going to lose it cleanly. I mean, that's part of the game. You're just going to lose the faceoff clean when you go into a faceoff like that. So yeah, for him to say that was an unfair puck drop, I'm with you, Kurt. Fuck off.
This whiny bitch.
That's such a whiny bitch.
You. And so I mean the overtime lasted 16 seconds or whatever it was, or not how long it was, but he Tarasenko grabs loose puck after O'Reilly had the puck poked away, and undresses was it Yossi? While cutting to the slot.
Yep.
And ripped it by Saro's stick side. Oh God.
Yeah, I forget who it was in my feed, but said, wasn't that Yossi that the national broadcasters had been flating all game that Tarasenko just undressed?
He had a good game. Yossi had a good game, except for, I mean,
he had a great game.
But here's the third period. We didn't talk about this. I thought the Blues were going to lose this game. The way Nashville came back, and they were all over the Blues in the third period, and the Blues were trying to hold on, and I really felt like Nashville was going to win that game in regulation, and then overtime's anybody's bet, but I did not have a good feeling at all, which is why when Tarasenko scored, it was that much more enjoyable because it was kind of unexpected. Yeah, the Blues played a really good first two periods, an excellent first two periods. But the third period, as soon as that wraparound goal went in, things were different. So, which kind of plays back to what we talked about before, about how a team responds to a goal that, is not the best goal against. So, and the Blues, I don't think they played their best hockey in that period.
No, I think a lot of Blues fans were having the flashback from just a couple months ago. I mean, even just a month ago.
Yep. Yeah.
That they had the 3-1 lead, they lose it 3-3. Okay. They're gonna lose this game. I mean, that's what I was thinking too. I'm like, yeah, dead. Jake Allen in net. I mean, this is the Blues of December. They're gonna lose this game. So yeah, it was nice to see them. That is one of those games, honestly. And I know that they had a lead 3-1, but when they went into overtime, I even said, I'm like, you know what? This is one of those games where I'd be happy with them just getting the point, because they had already taken 2 points from Nashville on Saturday. And we had talked about this last week.
I agree.
If you could walk out of Tampa and Nashville 2 games in a row with half the points, 4 points, you're happy. To get as many points as they did out of those 3 games is, if you would have told me a week ago, I would have said, no way. There's no way they're getting all the points out of those games.
Yep.
And they did. It's unbelievable.
And then I don't want to. I mean, we've the most interesting games we covered. I don't want to spend a lot of time talking about Jersey. There were 3 goals in the first, Blues 3 goals in the second, 2 in the third. We won 8-3. This was a rout against a team that was just not interested in playing whatsoever.
Right. And 3 of the goals went in off devil sticks.
Yeah. Oh my God. And I felt bad for Kincaid. So bad.
I did too.
Geez, he looked disgusted. He was just, and I'm like, and I think you could see through his cage and his mask. I'm like, his look was just like, what the fuck, guys?
Yeah.
You know.
He almost
he did.
After the McEachern goal.
He did. McEachern was beautiful.
God damn, change up the super fast speed on the breakaway and
soft
change
hands
shot.
Soft hands against the grain. Yeah. Oh man.
Yeah, and I don't think we've mentioned it, but that's a kind of a being able to sign him to a very cheap extension. I mean.
Yeah.
Tells me that
Armstrong 4 years, $4 million per.
No, 1 year, one way.
Oh, I see.
But that to me that tells me that Fabry's probably not going to make this lineup the rest of the year without him.
There's the rumor is that rumors people are thinking that he might get moved here.
Well, we'll get to that in a minute. I want to finish up a little bit on this game. Like you said, we don't need to talk about it too much. All I want to say, because you kept expecting a goalie pull for New Jersey. Kincaid gives up all those goals, and then you look at the bench and you say, okay, I know why they're not making the goalie change. Corey Schneider has just been, abysmal for them, and it's a shame because you almost feel bad for the guy. I don't think he's won an NHL game since December of 2017. I think that's correct. That's awful because they were riding Kincaid last year at the end of the year. That guy, I don't know what happened to him. I don't know if he just needs to change his scenery or what, but that is terrible. And so, I could see why John Hines didn't want to put Schneider in that game.
He peaked in Vancouver.
Yeah, but Schneider, doesn't he have I thought I had heard that he had some kind of debilitating hip injury.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I heard that too.
So his you may be right. He peaked with Luongo.
Yeah.
In Vancouver.
Yeah. Right.
Well, Schwartzy getting a goal. That's a big thing to discuss there. Gotta love that.
Check this out, guys. Anaheim is beating Vancouver 1-0. Can you believe that? In the second period.
Anaheim is one of the biggest. Did I hear correctly that Ryan Kessler has 6 points this year?
Oh, really? He's too busy putting on disguises and playing with the crowd.
Oh my God, has that guy fallen?
Yeah.
He it was Kessler who dressed up as some kind of security guy, put the fat suit on a little bit and the mustache and everything, and was giving the players a hard time when they were coming to the arena for early for a game, and he was giving the rigmarole during the
I think that's correct.
Scanning and stuff for coming in for that was funny.
Yeah, that team is, oh my God. We talked about it earlier with the Blues needing help from the other teams. Anaheim, they were second in the division in November, and now they're tied for last. Yeah. Last I looked.
Well, here's the deal: they're the anti-Blues this season, and the thing is that so we'd like to see Vancouver lose this game, and they are. Stars are aligning right now, and just ride this comet as long as it'll comet. What's that? Ride this pony is, I don't know what I'm saying. Ride the hot hand.
Yes.
Enjoy it. Don't get first in the mouth. You
Ride
can kill
the
two birds with one
wave
stone
until it's gone.
Ride the wave. Yes. Enjoy the wave. Yeah.
It's been quite the whirlwind. We've mentioned it earlier in the show how much it's fun to watch at this point and how it's such a turnaround. It's such a 360 from earlier in the year. Yeah, I mean, I have a friend who's a Ducks fan and lifelong Ducks fan. Seen him since inception, and he, oh my God, I mean, he's just like, what the hell is up with this team? I mean, they did the same thing the Blues did with it. What took way too long to fire the head coach, and he even said he said Randy Carlyle is not the issue, but you got to do something.
Yeah.
And it took way too long for them to do anything with that roster.
So Vancouver's losing right now, and they are they're 2 points out, 2 points behind Minnesota for the last wild card spot, and 4 points behind the Blues. Well, the Blues have 2 games in hand on Vancouver. So if Vancouver loses this game, they got ways to go yet. But if they lose this game, the Blues will have 3 games in hand on Vancouver and a 4-point lead on them. That's a lot.
Right. So we talked about the Blues jumped 13 teams.
14
teams.
14 teams. Yeah.
Most teams, down
13.
goes Brown. Reading The Athletic the other day, down goes Brown had a thing about, what do the teams do, come to the trade deadline, and one of the points he made is, the Blues, most teams don't make up 4 points in November. If they're 4 points out in November, they don't make that up,
which is crazy.
Right. Statistically, that happens.
You know what though?
It's amazing in that context to see what the Blues have done and to be in a very strong playoff position.
I know it is very strong now. I mean, they are realistically they could. I mean, they are right there with Dallas, and we've talked about Dallas before. They look like shit against us. They look terrible both games. They were lucky to beat us. We had a shit goaltending in that game.
We had a Jake Allen.
Yeah, we had a Jake Allen problem. And that's why they won that game. And then the second time we played them, we beat them 3-1. And they looked the same in that game. So yeah, I don't. The Blues could. I mean, assuming they don't go south, if they keep this up, they are going to catch Dallas. There's not a doubt in my mind.
So tomorrow night, going into last night against the Devils, a lot of people I talked to, myself included, I talked to myself, were worried that was a trap game.
Oh yeah, I was worried about it too, but nope. tomorrow night,
Phoenix. That feels more like a trap game to me because the last 2 times we've gone into that building, we've given up 6 goals in each of those games.
Right, and they just beat Vegas last night, and they won. They won the last 2 games.
Yeah.
But before that, they lost like 4 or 5 in a row or something. So they're not exactly playing great hockey. But the last 2 games they won, and they beat Vegas, who Vegas is struggling right now. So that's not really, you can't put too much stock in that. I think Vegas has lost like 4 or 5 in a row.
Yeah.
So.
But
well, and let's face it. Oh, go ahead, Bill. Sorry.
I was just going to say, if we can get the 2 points out of the game tomorrow night, Dallas is playing Tampa Bay.
Ooh, is that right? See, this is yeah. I'm gonna say this right now. Well, we played 4.
Hot take.
No, I mean it's not. I mean, this has been talked about a little bit, but we've played 4 fewer games than Nashville. We're 10 points behind them, and Nashville lost last night too.
Yeah, and Nashville's not having a great time right now.
They're struggling a little bit right now. So it would not shock me if the Blues gave Nashville a run for that second spot. I mean, I don't want to get too cocky about this Blues team.
Too far ahead of ourselves.
I don't want to do that. But with the way the Blues are playing and the way that Nashville has been struggling, they've lost 3 in a row now. In Dallas, I think the Blues can catch Dallas. They have the games in hand. They're playing really well. I mean, it's not out of the realm of possibility. We only have 1 fewer loss. We have 1 more loss than Nashville. That's it. They have 21 losses. We had 22, and the same amount of. We both have 5 OT losses. That's it.
What a switch, a turn from last year, right? I mean, we were at this point last year. We were saying, okay, the Blues need to start getting a couple wins. They had a nice, comfortable lead after but before Schwartz got hurt, and it was they just got to play 500 hockey all the way through. Hopefully other teams don't catch us. And now it's, oh my God, they need to keep playing this way. And if Nashville keeps playing the way they're playing, we're going to catch them. And who knows? Winnipeg goes on a losing streak. We could catch them. I mean, it's crazy. And that's just just why we love the NHL. This shit happens every year. I mean, Bill, you were talking about, the excitement and how it's just seeing this run at the end of the year. I go back to 2009. Now, granted, 2009, we knew that team wasn't really going to do anything. But watching that run at the end of the year to make the playoffs was some of the most exciting hockey we've ever seen. And we're seeing it now. And this is a team that we thought could make some noise in the playoffs. So now you got that leveled on top of the excitement of just the games right now. And it just makes it so much better. And it's just so, I mean, if they would have been playing this the way they were playing a month and a half ago, we're doing the show right now. We would have talked before the show and said, do we really need to talk about the Blues? I really want to talk about the Blues. And now we're talking about the Blues. This is great.
Well, the teams behind, and the reason why I'm a lot of people are feeling good about the Blues, not just because of the record and how far they've advanced in the standings, but we've talked about this. The teams around them, they weren't playing, they weren't doing anything. Everyone, which is understandable, they're lower in the standings, but the teams below them, the only teams that are over 500, LA, which they're kind of out of it right now. Anyway, Chicago, everybody else is 500 or under. There's nobody and even maybe Minnesota is 4-4-2, who have the second wild card spot, and Vegas 3-7. Calgary's over, San Jose's over, and the top three in the Central are over just barely, Winnipeg and Nashville. But so I mean, I don't really feel threatened by anybody behind us right now at all. But the way Chicago's been playing, man, they're all of a sudden they're back in it. They got they're only 4 points behind Minnesota, and they're 7-3 in the last 10.
Minnesota is on a free fall. They're not as bad as Anaheim, but they're falling.
The Blackhawks won 7 in a row, and it was their streak was broken. Was it last night?
Yep,
last night. Yeah.
And so they won 7 in a row, and didn't gain a point on us. That's kind of funny.
Yeah. But they
and I mean, how many times do you say that? I mean, when we were looking at the standings just a couple weeks ago, it was the Blues are only 4 points out of a playoff spot, but they got to climb 4 teams. It's not like those teams are just going to lose every game. The Western Conference is a hell of a conference. The NHL is obviously the best in the world. Plus now with the loser point, it's like, you're only 4 points out, but that means that other teams need to start losing. Well, guess what? They are. The other teams are losing right now. And it's just, it's the craziest turnaround that I've seen in a long time. I mean, I can't remember the last time was that half of a conference is just losing almost every game.
You remember the whole lose for Hughes conversation we had a while back about how I said that
ain't happening.
As we are too good of a team to do that. That's not going to happen. And so I don't want to mean I told you so to some folks, but told you so.
Dick.
Told you so. Listen to Kurt.
No, don't do that. I don't recommend
the Hawaii Blues fan says in the YouTube chat, wondering if I made the social media fails this week. I assume he's referring to, what is he referring to? He's referring to his analysis, I'm sure, of Allen played better than Binnington in the Nashville games.
Oh, yeah.
He was pretty vocal about that.
Yeah. Probably worthy.
Yeah, yeah, right.
I mean, you're entitled to your own opinion, but we're just going to disagree with it.
Yeah, I said I liked Allen's play except for that one goal, which I thought was bad on, and Binnington had a bad goal in the Nashville game. So I mean,
no, if Allen plays that way, 82 games a season, fuck yeah, sign him for the next 27 years. But
No, yeah, no.
but that's not that's not the Jake Allen we know. And I do disagree. I think Binnington had a hell of a game Saturday.
Thank you.
And it's not just it has nothing to do with how many goals each goalie let up, how many shots each goalie faced. Binnington just looks like the more confident goaltender right now, and
he's much more composed.
He's composed. He's snagging rebounds. He's not letting a lot of second chances happen. Now, listen, I'm not saying that
he's not overplaying his position.
Yeah, he's challenging shooters
in his movement effort.
He's at the top of the crease on shots he's supposed to be. He's not hanging onto the crossbar when he should be out challenging. He's just, and they showed in the game against Tampa Bay when the Blues won. They had the overhead camera on Allen. They showed it after the fact, and he just skated on the ice. He didn't pump his arms. Didn't give a fuck yeah. He just left the crease and skated down. He's so
even keeled,
which I love. Well, I've talked about this before. I love passion in players. I like to see it. That's just my personal opinion. But he can act however the fuck he wants if he wins. I don't care.
Yeah, we've seen goalies that show the excitement. I remember Curtis Sanford, every win. Granted, they were few and far between, but every time Sanford won a game, it was a fist pump. It was Manny Legacy was the same. So I enjoy that too, but it is kind of nice to see a goalie who reacts the same to a shutout and then just a win. I'm all about passion. I'm with Kurt, but yeah, seeing his composure all the time, it's refreshing, and I think that's what a lot of players kind of want to see in their goalie when he's kind of unproven. He's not riding the highs too much. That means he's not going to ride the lows too much.
Yeah, he stays with himself. It's really, and it works for him. So that's all they care about. So should the Blues be active at the trade deadline, which is February 25th, which is only 12 days away? Ryan O'Reilly was asked what he thinks about the Blues being active leading up to the trade deadline. He said, "I don't expect really anything big to happen here, and that's good. I think we have the group that can get it done," which I would expect any player to say for PC reasons. Obviously, I don't want to say, "Yeah, let's get some guys out of here."
Yeah, we should get a better backup goalie. That guy we got now sucks.
So, do you guys think the Blues should be active? Active or stand pat, or not too long-winded because we're running long on time. But what do you guys think?
I'll go quick. And by quick I mean Bill. You better wait about 20 minutes. Go ahead and go get a beer. I think.
Let's go.
I think every year I want my team to do something because I think it just gives you that extra jolt. I think back to 2001. Granted, the Blues made a lot of moves that year, but that was the year they brought in Kachuk and Mellenby and Gusarov. And I think that extra little jolt of Stillman too. Oh, wow. Okay. We're really going for it. I think that really kind of sets the mindset of the organization. But the way that they have come back now, I'm fine with them doing nothing.
Because when you get Prom back, it's like making a trade.
Damn you! I was gonna say that.
Are you really?
Yeah, I was.
Well, you took you too long to get the fucking point. All right?
I know. I'm still pissed off about the referee. No, I don't want to see them do much because I think that the way that they look now, and now if this is a reverse season, if it was like last year, yeah, go out and get one or two guys if you can, solidify the roster. Put that idea in your mindset that nobody's safe and we need to go out and win now. But the way that they're playing now, don't mess with it. Unless you just get a ridiculous deal to unload one of your bad contracts, okay. But, if not, if you don't get something like that, you're good. Leave it alone. David Perron will be back soon. Maybe if you insert Robbie Fabry later in the season, he's motivated and he'll start playing well. You don't need to make a trade at this point.
I would say stand pat with the forwards and the D. If you can look at upgrading backup goalie, do it. If you can find somebody to take Jake Allen off your hands and bring in
like a Brian Elliott,
right? If Ron Hextall wouldn't have been fired, we could totally make this happen.
They just sent him down for conditioning. Elliott,
because he hasn't.
He's ready. He's ready to come back.
Yeah. But
so that was brought up today online that the Blues should look into maybe getting him and moving Allen. I mean, not that Elliott would be a huge upgrade over Allen. Elliott has struggles, but the contract issue with Allen would be. I don't know what Elliott makes right now.
I thought it was pretty close to a wash, except for term. Because Elliott's UFA after this year, and Allen's got 2 more years.
2.75, and he's a UFA next season. So he makes $1.5 million less than Allen, and his contract will be.
And Philly's not going to bring in Jake Allen. Like, we'd have to give them somebody else because Carter Hart's their guy.
I know, and this, yeah. Well,
that's what makes me think
if you can move Jake Allen. And this won't happen, but I'm just spitballing. Move Jake Allen, bring in Brian Elliott, and you have him walk at the end of the season, and then sign Bobrovsky in the offseason. So Bobrovsky backed up by Bennington. Got the killer bees on in the goaltending.
See, your point that Carter Hart's their guy, Bill, is why I think maybe, and again, just spitballing, there is a chance they'd want Jake Allen because Carter Hart's on his entry-level deal. They don't need to worry about paying him yet. So maybe you go get a veteran guy who can sit behind him, and Philly's not worried about how much they're actually spending. So you could afford a Jake Allen. Plus, Yori Laterra's coming off the books here soon. Again, spitballing, probably not even a possibility, but I think that is a deal that is – and I still think – we've talked about it on the show before. Who takes Jake Allen? I think teams are still going to look at him. He's the prime candidate of, if he just gets a change of scenery, he'll be fine.
I guess.
Reclamation project.
You would think if that was the case, he'd be gone already, wouldn't you? I mean,
you'd think.
I don't know, unless they're. I don't know. I would. I'm an Elliott fan. I like Elliott, but I know hasn't had near the success after leaving here. But the contract is less money. He's done it for this year with that contract, so you can let him walk and then look into exploring options at signing somebody or making a move in the offseason after you get Quenneville. See who he wants in that. Since everyone's in playoff mode now, should the Blues make the playoffs, who do they start in net? This was brought up on the Blues NHL podcast by Rivers, and I was curious as to why this is even a question, but go ahead.
There is no question. It's Binnington.
I
100% Binnington.
I don't even know why.
Backed up by Ville Husso.
This is one of those questions that you'll hear on 101.1 or the morning after or wherever, when they're just like, let's kill some time. We don't really have anything for the 10 o'clock hour.
The non-goalie.
Yeah, we don't. Let's just talk about goalies. Who should start? Your take, Blues fans. I mean, the fact that it's on a podcast is a little surprising because I think 100%. There's no question here, right?
Yeah,
but he has no experience.
Well, you're asking this question right now when Binnington's the hottest goalie in the league. It's like, well, right now, yeah. Now after maybe in 10 games from now, if Binnington comes down to earth and goes 500 and he's now maybe it's a different story. But you're asking this question right now. It's fucking Binnington. Right. My God,
right?
Not a question.
Maybe he's Andrew Hammond or Patrick Lalime. That the guy that it took teams a while to figure out. Maybe that's the case, but why, to your point, why do you ask this question now? Makes zero sense.
No, I know.
First star of the week.
Yeah. But for the first time, the Blues had a first star of the week, a goalie,
since Chris Mason.
Yeah. And the entire time that Halak and Elliott were doing their thing that entire they won the Jennings that
Yeah.
they didn't have a first start of the week ever that
It's
season.
insane.
It's crazy.
It's
nuts.
insane.
And with Elliott was numbers in this entire run here, how they were, and not a first start of the week, which is like mind boggling.
Yeah. I don't get it.
No. Yeah, I think what else we got? Anything else on the YouTube chat? Devil's Advocate, Mandarin Melon says Petrangelo is at his most valuable at 11:07 p.m. on 2/13/19. What does that mean? Oh,
Right now.
right now. Yeah.
No, I don't know. I mean, like I said earlier, I really haven't changed my stance a whole lot because I just feel like this team could easily go back to the way they were just a couple months ago. So I don't want to say that I've taken a complete 360.
Well, you know what though? I think this team's different, and we talked about earlier about how the teams 4 points out of the playoffs in November, whatever, they usually don't make the playoffs, right? But I think the Blues probably fall into the category of teams where expectations were higher and they were underperforming, and they've finally turned it around. So a lot of those teams that were 4 points or more out of the playoffs on November, whatever, probably weren't good teams to start with. I think the Blues were expected to be better, and I think this is the way, maybe not quite this good, but this is the way a lot of people thought the Blues were going to be. Don't let anybody tell you that, this so-and-so thought this team was going to be good and nobody else did. Bullshit.
No.
Everybody in the world thought this Blues team coming into the season was going to be really good.
Right.
And don't. I've seen some people say that I thought they were going to be great the whole time this offseason. No one else did. Oh, bullshit.
And we got the emotional shit kicked out of us for
yeah.
How long?
Right. So,
No, I mean, so I don't want to say that if you don't get a good deal for Petrangelo, don't take it. But I wouldn't be. Let's put it like this: I would still be taking calls, but I wouldn't be making them.
yeah, and and at that point, that's a you'd moving him. You'd think that might upset the apple cart a little bit with this team? That stems back to really not making any moves necessarily, and just don't fix what's not broken. But even though, I mean, Petrangelo has had an off year, I get it. I don't know. That's a pretty big move still.
The last two games, he's looked great.
No, and he had the.
But yeah, overall this year he's been dog shit.
I know, and if you sell him now, are you selling low? I don't know if that's even worth it, but
I don't know.
I think we're gonna wrap up this show.
Let's hit a couple questions real quick. How many goals do you think Sonny ends with? From Jacob Pitt on the YouTube chat. Right now he sits at 11. What do you say? 15, give or take?
14.
14 and a half.
He's I think it'll dry up.
Over under at 15. What do you say? You said under?
I'll go under.
I'll say push.
Yeah. Okay. I'll say under.
And we did get a couple tweets here. Really just one pertains to the show. First time viewer, what are your thoughts on how to get Fabry the ice time he needs to continue to develop into a top six, middle six forward?
Trade him.
He has he has the potential to ? Is it just going to take him time to become less timid after the injuries? I don't know what to do with him. I think we're all in agreement. We've been talking a little bit about this in our chat that we have throughout the Blues week. I'm all for it. That's one guy right now. We said no moves. If you can move Robbie Fabry even for a draft pick, I think you got to do it.
Can you get a third rounder for him?
Maybe
that's about the best you can get. You can't get anywhere on that.
I think somebody overpays and you get something better than that.
You think so? Better than the third round pick for Fabry, who I don't know.
You think it's the trade deadline, Bill, or you think it's better at the draft?
The draft.
Oh, because you want him as it'd be nice to have him. Oh, I agree with you.
He's the kind of guy that you don't want to get rid of now,
right? Because
of injury.
He could be valuable come playoff time for something. Yeah, I agree with that. I wouldn't want to get rid of him now, unless you get something nice for him. which I don't think you'll get.
Something nice.
Something nice. Get yourself something nice.
And Jacob Pitt asks prediction for tomorrow.
That I won't make it through the entire game.
I don't pick scores. I'll say I'm not going to pick against the Blues right now against Arizona. I mean, it's in Arizona. I get it, but they're playing too well. And I know Arizona came off a win against Vegas, but Vegas has not been playing well either. So I'm not going to pick Arizona over the Blues.
Something that we all need to remember, and this is just kind of my PSA for the show. The Blues aren't going to win every game to end the season. So if they lose tomorrow, or if they lose Saturday, don't get your panties in a bunch. They'll be fine.
It will be annoying though, because this month is full of tough games, and you do really want to win the ones you should win.
Yeah,
but no, I get you. They're going to lose. They're going to lose some games, so don't freak out, people.
Yeah, and this is going to be a tough game.
Yeah, no,
based on recent history.
No, I agree.
I do think we're going to see a Blues win. I think what I would love to see is I'd love to see like a 9. I'd like to see Jake Allen in net, and the Blues win like 9-7, with Clayton Keller getting 7 goals for the Coyotes.
So you're gonna kill Bennington's GAA?
I just said I want to see Jake Allen play.
Oh, I didn't.
You went dark.
You went dark there for a second. I didn't hear you.
Oh, I went to the dark web. Sorry.
You have automatic censoring things for
Then you're gonna
being fanboys of Jake Allen.
Then you're gonna ruin Jake Allen's trade value.
That's a good point. What am I thinking? No, I do think the Blues pull out a victory, but I think it's a lot of people after this weekend are expecting a giant win. I think we're going to see the Blues sneak out of Arizona with 2 points, but we'll see. And that's why they say they play the games.
I think that's going to do it for this week's show. For Jeff Ponder and Bill Day, I'm Kurt Price. That will conclude this week's broadcast of Let's Go Blues Radio. Until next time, everyone, let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
Let's go Blues.
The Chiefs are at home tonight against Cyanosport at the War Memorial at 8. Good seats are still available.
A look at fourth.
I think that went very well.
Thank you for listening to Let's Go Blues Radio. Now take off, hosers.
Well, there's 90 minutes of your life you'll never get back. Sorry.
St. Louis Blues, St. Louis Blues. Have you heard the news about our St. Louis Blues? They've only just begun, they're on their way to #1. Now there's no more blues for our St. Louis Blues. The Blues are on the